streaming live on TikTok, Rumble, YouTube, Facebook, but X did not work. Here we are, live again. Just speak up. Where I am trying to encourage you to use that voice of yours to tell the world what you have to say. Tonight, we got Brody. What up, Brody?
Saw, dude. What's going on, guys?
And we've got the Rotary Doc.
What is up? What is up?
What up, Rotary?
Not a whole
Our,
lot.
our special guest tonight for a special episode. So what do we got for him, Brody? Tell him what we got.
We got a topic, and it is giving it to God, dude.
Whoa, giving it to God. Are you prepared for this, Rotary?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm ready.
So I don't really know where this is going to go. See if we could even stay on topic. But
that's okay. Just give it to God, bro.
There we go.
Yeah. There you go.
So apparently we all, first of all, believe in God.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So, and what's that to you?
What's that to you? Are you asking like as to how we would define God?
Yes.
Yeah. So I guess in both of these are going to be massive oversimplifications, but the two biggest and at least perhaps easiest to describe parts, God is the force that speaks forth habitable being into order from the otherwise chaos that is reality, and God is also the abstract of the ultimate ideal. I would say those are the two easiest to oversimplify, at least in my opinion.
If you could oversimplify it even further.
Yeah. If I could oversimplify it even further.
Yeah.
Well, that's an interesting proposition.
But just break it down to me like I am dumb.
All right. Well, so in the first part of that, God is the... Oh, can y'all still see me?
Of course.
Yeah, we can see you.
Accidentally touched my screen. Forgot this was a touchscreen laptop. So yeah, the first part, God.
Hold on a second, guys. I'm sorry, I got to interrupt, but I don't have a God to give it to.
Cammy Bell.
I mean, yeah, we see that, right? Cammy Bell. Mm-hmm. Would you agree with that statement? Because I think I would disagree with that.
I can't agree or disagree with what other people feel or believe, or their human experience. But personally, I think there definitely is a force or a higher power to give it to 100%.
Why can't you disagree with that?
Well, I mean, I do disagree, right? But I can't say what I can't like tell her or whatever to believe, and I can't say what to believe in, right? But
nor would it work. I highly doubt she would just be like, oh, well, okay, since you said so.
Right? Especially coming from me, bro. But like, no, I have a higher power, and I think we all do. But hey, we all find it at our own time if we do find it, and that's okay.
All right. Well, Rotary, do you want to continue what you were saying or touch on that?
Well, I guess to touch on that, I suppose my take on that would be that God existed and was real long before I knew those things to be true. And so in that sense, I suppose maybe I disagree with the statement in that regard, but in the same way as Brody said, I suppose I don't feel that it's my place to make judgment, upon somebody else's belief, and I can certainly understand why one might not have a personal relationship with God or a belief in God as a personal being. I've certainly worn those shoes. So yeah.
Hey, Brody, what did I tell you?
You said this dude was wicked smart, and
yeah,
you were right. Way to go, Rotary, dude. Way to go, buddy.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
I said he had exemplary communication skills.
They are shining, sir.
Yeah.
Well, thanks. I try.
If I ever need a lawyer, go past the bar for me, cousin. I'm going to need you.
Yeah, yeah.
Yo, and thank you, Cammy Bell, for your comment. And I want you to know that we love you and we're glad to see you here.
I love Cammy, bro.
And you have an invite, of course. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, so giving it to God, we've heard both of your explanations, and I guess we could move forward. So, Brody, did you find anything interesting thinking about this topic before we came up here today?
Man, this has been a sentence that has rang in my life through my eardrums forever. My grandma told me that ever since I can remember. Anytime that I was
Forever?
forever and
Like,
ever, probably since the
you could
womb,
ever?
bro. Really?
Wow.
Yeah, she's probably
Wow.
telling it to my mom, and I would hear it through the tummy or something. But ever since I can remember, she would always, anytime I had any type of tribulation or whatever, trial, whatever, she would just say, Matthew, you got to give it to God. Just give it to God. And I never understood it until I was like an adult, right? Where I would always be like, yeah, sure, just give it to God, huh? And it's like, yeah, dude, it really is that when you let go and understand that, in my opinion, that there is a power higher than ourselves that is kind of running everything, man. And I truly believe that in the bottom of my soul, dude. And
How's he running it, Brody?
man, how's he not running it? Right? I mean, um, I think we have our own free will, right? We have our choices we can make, and it leads to like forks in the road or whatever.
Yeah.
But ultimately, there's something looking out. There's something looking out for our best interest and wants us to feel love and peace and happiness. And
Boom, there it is.
yeah,
That's how he's running it, right? With
yeah.
love.
Oh, dude, 10 times out of 10, all 10 of them, it's love.
Would you agree with that, Rotary? That
Oh yeah,
God's kingdom is ran by love?
absolutely, absolutely.
Interesting. I feel it. I enjoy it. I let it just embody me throughout the day, and I stay in that mindset. And like, I give everything to God every time. Like, if I'm doing the dishes, all I got to think about is that, and I'm just like, ooh, all right. All of a
Yep.
sudden, washing dishes
Yeah,
ain't that bad.
Cruising through it, dude.
yeah.
Boom.
Yeah. It's something I should probably remind myself of more on a conscious level, right? Like, even like you just
Okay.
said, even the little things in the day, I should probably get better at that because, sometimes work be sucking dog. And I forget to fucking just let it go and give it to something other than me. I don't got to hold it.
So what do you guys know about Job?
The dude that got the boils and whatever on him, I don't know much, but
Yeah, not as much as I should probably be my answer to that.
did God
Not
curse
as
him with
much as you
boils?
should.
God cursed him with like
So
boils and whatever, right?
so the just okay. So I mean, I know, but I don't know.
Hmm.
I'm not gonna get like all like okay. I'll just tell you what I do know. Job was a dude that gave his life to God and had everything, and then God was like, look at my servant Job, isn't he amazing? And then the devil was like, well, that's only because you give him all this stuff. He's like, take it from him and let's see what you think of him
Right.
or what he thinks of you. And Job never gives in, basically, and he loves God through all of it all. So that's the gist of it. Is that what you know, Rotary, about it? What do you know about it?
Yeah, that's pretty much how I would have summarized that as well. I'm not certain I have any insight that goes a whole lot deeper than that. I'm not insanely familiar with that specific story, but I've heard it. I think the same as you have. So.
Okay, okay. So do you have anything you want to share about that, Brody, before I move forward?
Oh no, please move forward. It does
Okay.
sound familiar. It rings a bell.
So this is like I normally don't pull out like scriptures and stuff like this. This is actually probably my first time doing it with other people
Yeah.
live. But anyways, the reason I bring up Job is because this is where I got the bit that I'm about to read here and the inspiration and the joy. Like I was reading this and I felt some kind of way. So It goes like this: As God lives, who has taken away my right, and the Almighty, who has made my soul bitter, as long as my breath is in me, and the Spirit of God is in my nostrils, my lips will not speak falsehood, and my tongue will not utter deceit. And that's just the first few sentences of two dope chapters. But I always talk about speaking the truth and doing my best to never tell a lie, no matter what, and this is kind of gets me going. It encourages me to do that.
Mm. Mm.
So, as God lives, who has taken away my right, and the Almighty, who has made my soul bitter. So that was when he was going through some stuff. And then he says, as long as my breath is in me, and the Spirit of God is in my nostrils, my lips will not speak falsehood, and my tongue will not utter deceit. Do you go walk around lying, Brody, all day?
Try to make a conscious effort not to, bro, for sure.
Okay,
'Cause
but do you tell lies throughout your day?
not every day, no, but definitely, like I told my boss, I got caught behind a train today because your boy was late to work, dog. Straight up. I said I got caught behind a train. Oh, don't look at me disappointed, dude.
No. I just,
No.
dude, this video is about to blow, bro. So you might have just blown your cover.
What?
That's all I was thinking.
Oh, no, it's cool, dude. I mean, it'll buff out.
It'll buff.
Okay.
It'll buff. Yeah.
So that was just a couple days ago. What about you, Rotary? You go around lying, telling stories, making stuff up?
Oh, all the time, definitely. Yeah. I mean, I do make a lot of a lot of very outlandish jokes. I've been known to tell numerous people that I've been reporting to the IRS that I have 27 kids for the past 4 years. And obviously that's a joke, right? Yeah. I'm not really doing that. I have, at least in the life that I live, undergone a pretty radical kind of transformation really in the last 4 years or so. And a big part of that is taking personal responsibility for as many things as I can possibly manage to in my own life. It's something approximating confronting reality on reality's terms. And as a part of that, I absolutely do everything in my power, just as Josh said, to be 100% brutally, fundamentally, patently honest about absolutely everything. And I've witnessed the power, the transformative power of that in my own life. And in abstract, in some sense, God is the truth. I used to think that I could get away with, so to speak, bending the truth in many situations for the sake of my own gain, whether that be something relatively minor or things that aren't. But the thing that I've come to learn over time is that in fact nobody ever really gets away with that. And that could be a whole nother 2 hour long conversation. It's like you might literally in the instant,
dude.
yeah, you might literally in that very instant. But being dishonest about things in general, that is no way to build a mode of being in the world that works not only today but tomorrow and the day after and thereon and so forth. And to me personally, I feel that speaks to the fundamental nature of reality. The truth and accurately representing what is the truth happens to be the most functional mode of being that there is. It's the best way that we can be in the world today. And I think that speaks to overall the goodness of the nature of being itself. So, yeah.
See, this is it. Oh, that's the wrong way. That's why. That works.
Yeah,
I didn't notice that either earlier. I tried.
Well, dude, Rotary, you hit that perfectly, dude. Like, so that's exactly it. That's why you tell the truth. That's how it works. And if everybody really did that, the world would be a different place. And it's a very difficult thing to do in society. Like, if you're late to work, and they say, "Why are you late?"
Yeah.
Why are you late? I don't have an excuse good enough. Trust me. Do you really want to hear this?
Yeah, no, sometimes I'll take full accountability to be like, I don't have a good reason, but I'm here, you know? Today wasn't one of those days, and in a society full of lies, like you said, Rotary, man, it's super important to be honest, uh, and that's in any walk of life, whether you're in recovery, whether you're just living a normal life, trying to be happy. It's like imagine a world with no deceit or deception, right? Even when the truth hurts, bro, it still heals.
Yeah,
It still
absolutely.
heals every time. You know.
So, everybody that's watching, I want to give you the opportunity to tell us what you think about the truth. Or if you have a question to somebody here, type it in the comments. Anywhere on YouTube, Facebook, Rumble. It's hard to keep up with the TikTok comments. TikTok, TikTok, TikTok. So,
Let's see here, and I haven't even really been looking at TikTok here. We're still rolling. Oh, we got comments rolling in on TikTok.
How do you feel about brutal honesty? Not brutal, maybe, but just.
Jay,
Cami Bell says lies are often rooted in emotions. Yeah. Fear. Lies are often rooted in fear. For sure. For sure. Like scared of the consequence, trying to control the outcome, trying to maybe manipulate or form the best outcome for yourself. Yeah, definitely. I agree.
To tell the truth and allow reality to unfold as it should. So I was just trying to do a little break in speaking, so I gave a moment of silence to everybody out there. And Brody, thank you for being here tonight. Have you been on Rumble before?
Yeah. Yeah, I've been on Rumble before,
Yeah.
man. Yeah, it's pretty tight. Not like this. I've never been live on Rumble or anything, but it's a dope platform, bro.
All right. What about you, Rotary?
I've had an account for a while, but I've never used it for anything before. So here we are for the first time.
First time I heard about it was like 2 days ago.
Oh, wow.
Or 3 days ago when I did a live, and here we are. And it's actually very cool. So
Yeah.
if you're watching this and you're wondering what Rumble is,
Hey, Jai, is there a
it's a
way?
streaming
Is there a way
platform.
for you to send Crystal Palace the Rumble link? He's in the TikTok right now. I let him
Yeah.
into the live on TikTok here.
Yeah, there is. So if anybody wants to get a hold of me, they can email me at justspeakupj@gmail.com. Justspeakupj@gmail.com. And we could get you on here, especially if you want to talk about awesome things. If you're on TikTok, come see us at jaw_bless_I, the rotary dot. Brody Pines, Brody_Pines. And on Facebook, well, you'll just have to figure out what our names are, won't you?
Good luck.
Yeah.
No, you'll find it
Good
pretty
luck.
easy.
Hey, when you do, though, go ahead and tag me and friend request me and holla at your boy. So, Rotary, when you think give it to God, what do you think?
Well, I think I guess I think about it in kind of two different ways, I suppose. Two main kind of categorizations I could make when it comes to that. And so, first and foremost, I suppose it would be taking into account, what I know to be true of God and what I know to be true of Jesus and the example that he set in living on this earth and all of the decisions that I make. In some sense, I'm giving the decisions that I make in my life to God. And then there's also what I think both of you guys touched on a little bit earlier, which is having an ultimate faith in the goodness of the nature of being, regardless of circumstance, and being able to maybe not necessarily rest on that, but being able to depend on that, especially in times of like proper hardship. And so, um, I guess kind of touching on what you guys were saying a little bit earlier. Um, I'm losing my
Oh, me
train of
too.
thought on that one.
Okay.
Okay, buddy.
That's okay,
So
Good
that
game, bro. Told you you'd win.
because that's what I do.
I didn't know you'd do that awesome, but that was fucking cool.
That is what I do. You know what, Rotary? When you get that back, you let us know. But for a
I
moment,
think
I
I've,
want
I
to say
think I've, sorry.
I want to say hello to Melissa Jones.
What's up,
Melissa Jones, thanks
Jones?
for being here. Thanks for your comment. And we would love to hear what you think about the discussion and anything that may be on your mind.
Yeah, so this is a criticism that I hear of all organized religions and especially Christianity. I've heard many people say before, well, oh well, you're just a person who's simply scared of the world, or you're scared of death and what comes after life, and you don't have the answers to these things, so you fall back on the there's God, and so it's a comforting idea, and that's why you believe in it. But especially when it comes specifically to what we're talking about here, trusting in the underlying intelligibility and goodness of the universe when things have gone massively wrong. It's not just that is a quote unquote comforting thought. But in fact, doing that, having that faith in some sense in many situations, is the most functional thing that we can possibly do. Um, I think we all know what it is to have our lives become a little bit too complicated to keep up with, and perhaps a string gets pulled somewhere, and suddenly you find yourself in a situation that you absolutely never wanted to be in and did not plan for, and it seems like things are properly falling apart, and maybe you're freaking out a little bit and questioning just how you ended up where you are and why, perhaps. And
Mm.
I would propose that in that situation, the best possible thing that we have the ability to do is to continue to look forward to the future, believing that the future and our lives existing as a presumption, extending into the future as a presumption, will continue to be good because God has a good plan for us, even when we don't exactly understand it, even when it seems like things are falling apart, even when we feel like we've just jumped in to the deep end of a swimming pool and realize that we don't know how to swim. We trust that God has a good plan for our lives, and that allows us to continue moving forward as though we can presume that that's going to be the case. Freaking out, panicking, and stopping what you're doing is not ever a functional response to anything, although albeit sometimes uncontrollable, right? But I guess that's not specifically what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But so I view that aspect of giving it to God as part of a development of having the most functional response that I possibly can to extremely stressful or perhaps negative events. So.
I dig that, brother. I dig that big time. Giving it to God to me, man, is hey, dude, I don't have the answers. I'm not going to pretend like I do, right? I just know that what is better, if we ask ourselves that question, what's better? Is it we don't have the answers, so we should just not look or care or like imagine at all or whatever, or should we try to channel that inner, whatever that inner voice is? Should we try to ask where that's coming from? What's speaking to it? What's it speaking to? Where's this consciousness come from? Like they say that our brain makes the thumb move, but what's the thing telling your brain to make the thumb move? Where is that spark from? And I don't think it's not nothing. It has a home. It has a place of origin, and who knows what it may be. And I think that's like probably the beauty of life, right? Like we don't have to have the answers. We can just have conversations and talk about love and where it might be from, and hope for the best outcome. And I think all that wraps up into giving it to God at the end of the day. I think there's positive energy, negative energy, and there's a balance. And I think God is the balance, you know?
So, what happens when you give it to God, Brody?
Inner peace, love for
Is it
self,
immediate?
almost when you let it be. When you finally let it
See,
off of your chest, when you finally actually let go of it, yeah, you instantly feel a weight's been lifted and you can breathe again. And that's the most important thing, right? Breathing, thinking, getting oxygen to the brain, blood flow, being able to think critically through a calm state of mind, all right? And a calm spirit.
interesting.
Got to have a calm spirit to move through these mucky waters out here, bro. You don't
In
want
this world,
to, full of yuck, you know. You don't want to be one of them, you know. And sorry,
and
go ahead,
that's
buddy.
that. No, you're good. I just wanted to let you finish your train of thought. So, giving it to God is something for me that makes me remember that, like, in a way, none of this shit really matters. And knowing, not knowing exactly what's going to happen next is like exciting to me. So seeing things unfold. So when I have any type of negative frequencies flowing through my brain in a manner of negative thoughts and thinking, I just remember that, because everything that goes again, that is a what I call a bad thought, is stress of society and man's world. And it's not really who we are or how we're supposed to be. We just are that way because the way we've chosen to live as humans over all these years. So I find a way to get back to reality, which is where we all can be, if we really paid attention to life. And I lived a very long time without that.
Mm.
And that's a great place to be, and I found it by God showing me, so when I give it to God, I'm going to that place that really matters. That's inside of me, who I am, my heart, my soul, and this beautiful thing we call a mind. So the mind is a crazy thing, right? We're all
Mm.
here picking each other's minds and stimulating one another's minds with words. So that's a whole nother topic that we could go on.
Oh yeah,
Days
could
about.
Words,
go on
thoughts,
for hours about
emotions.
that. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But we obviously like it. So look, in reality, right? We thought of some topic to come and meet together and discuss on and show it to as many people as will watch.
Yeah.
Like, what does that even mean to us? Like, why? Why do we do that? Okay, let's explore that question. Why are you here doing this, Rotary?
Well, I'm here
Right
doing
now,
this.
this topic. Yeah.
Well, this is my first time meeting Brody, and this has been super awesome. Super glad that happened.
That's
Seems like
mutual,
a
brother.
super super cool guy, and
Mutual.
Jaw, you and I have had some awesome conversations over the course of the past couple of months or so. And so I'm here because, in part, because I like talking to you specifically, and also it's mirrored. I like talking. I like talking to you specifically, obviously, and then also eager to meet this awesome person above me here. But in all things, regardless of who it is specifically, I think that this is one of the best tools that we have in the pursuit of knowledge as mankind as a whole, is doing this exact type of thing. Getting together and discussing and sharing ideas. The three of us all have lived completely separate lives up until this point. We've spent the entirety of those three separate lives, going out into the world and interacting with people and learning things and trying new things and learning things. And, maybe one day you do something you've done 50,000 times, but you do it slightly differently and you learn something new. And in doing that, you're not just going out and collecting bits and pieces of information, you're also building something approximating an interpretive structure that allows you to collect and analyze and assemble facts and data such that you might be able to derive useful information from it. This is the structure through which you make sense of the world. And the three of us, having separately undergone that process up until this point, have gathered a wealth of information individually, and we get to come together here and share it with one another. And I think that's pretty cool. So
That is cool.
Fuck yeah,
And
Rotary.
I'd like to add on to that because a lot of those reasons I could agree with, if not all of them. But I want to just say, dude, like, I am here because I think that we can lead our people better than these fake leaders who are, nominated as they are now.
Phony.
And I feel that we can make a change with the voice that we have and show the people who we are and be that change. So when I find brilliant minds such as yourselves and we have these discussions, I hope there's people out in the world that feel the way that we do and that want to show the world what love really is and how beautiful it could be when we come together and unify in a manner that's in the benefit of humanity,
Rooted in peace and love.
I mean, you know what I'm saying? So
absolutely.
I'm here on a mission to show the world who we are, what we could do, and tell Joe Rogan to come see me. Tell Donald Trump I want to talk to him. Tell Mr. Biden, if there's anything that I could do to chat with these guys, and we'll show you a world changer. We can show you how to make the world a better place. So that's why I'm here.
Yeah, man. I tend to agree with both of you, man. Like the Blues Brothers said, man, we're on a mission from God, right? Whatever it is, whatever you believe in, I don't care. If it's rooted in peace and love, dude, that's dope to me. And try to stay true to that mission, man. Get your band back together. I don't know if y'all have seen the Blues Brothers, but get your band back together, man. Complete your mission. Know what your purpose is. Try to find it. Try to stay true to it. And my personal, what I think so far about life is throughout everything, man, whatever dreams I have of like personal dreams, outside of those, dude, my ultimate dream is to just see peace and unity and love in the world around me. And try to be a beacon of light in that. And I don't need to be the dude, right? But I would love to be the dude that sparks a brain that sparks 100 more. And the only way to do that is through conversation and love, man.
The sad part is that we actually kind of have to do this, right? Because of the state of the world, really. Because that's the thing for me. Like, I don't enjoy this. I mean, look, I enjoy talking to you guys. I have found a way to strive for what I'm trying to do by enjoying it. So everything that we do together now could benefit somebody later. At least that's my goal for now. And, here we go. Yeah. So, but it sucks to have to do it, because if we didn't have to, we'd be doing something we enjoy in a different manner. I don't know. Or maybe we would still be here, huh? Talking about great stuff.
I'd be out partying and sinning, bro. What?
No, dude, no.
No, I'm kidding. Maybe kind of.
Maybe kind of. Well, you know what? The truth is what matters here, Brody. Okay. So,
well, dude, without what I've found in this past year, without that, yeah, dude, I'd be not.
The truth is, we don't know what it would be, could be, should be. Right. That's the actual truth.
Right.
We could take guesses what we would maybe want it to be like from the spot we're in now, but it just doesn't work like that, in my opinion. You can't.
if I wouldn't have had the spiritual awakenings that I had the last year or two, hey man, I would still be out here being numb
Would-
to all this,
would-
right?
Would you be alive?
I don't know.
Right.
Not, I might still have a heartbeat, but would I be alive? I don't know. I wouldn't feel
I don't think either one for me.
right. You know, like something was headed toward a terrible place, bro. So if I was still alive, I wouldn't be enjoying it. I wouldn't be having, moments with my son that
So
are
then,
like
so then
unmatchable.
going back to your woulda, coulda, shoulda. Why would you be out partying and sinning then?
Man, that's who I was. That's who I was at one point, man. Very selfish.
But that's not who you are now, is it?
No, sir. I
Is it?
would like to think not. But
Would it be okay if it was? If you were?
no, it would be unacceptable. It was unacceptable then, right? So
Interesting.
I have a lot of things in my life that are really good. I have a good woman. I have a phenomenal son. I have a daughter who's beautiful and very kind and smart.
Nicholas!
Speaking of kids, and I have a vision for the future that it doesn't involve selfish motives. So, hey, I'll take that. I'll take that anytime.
So you heard me yell, Nicholas?
Yeah.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah. Well, I wonder how you mute because I don't know how you heard me.
Earlier you were muted briefly, and it did cut the audio off. So whatever you did earlier worked, but I don't know.
Anyway, Nicholas is getting summoned.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
Is that the 4-goal
So-
scorer, buddy?
Can you hear me right now?
Yeah.
Yep, we can hear you. Yeah.
What the hell?
Yeah.
Can you still hear me right now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Do you have phantom power on your interface?
I was gonna say you just turn. So what
If
your
you-
microphone is plugged into right there, there will be a little switch that says fan power just turned off, unless that's a USB mic or something like that.
I'm pushing mute though.
Oh,
Yeah. So
maybe the mute button.
Did you
stuff.
hear the clapping?
No, I
No.
don't think clapping. I don't think so.
You didn't hear the clapping?
No. I don't think
Oh,
so.
you know what? I don't even think my thing. Maybe it's not hooked up.
no.
That's weird.
Well,
It's
Blah, blah,
gotta be.
Oh, do you have like one of those? Sorry, do you have an audio interface that microphone's plugged into? That's also like a little soundboard type of thing.
Yeah.
So I believe on Rumble you have to go into, I'm new to Rumble, but any platform you have to go into the audio settings, like where your mic is, and then you have to select that as your input device. Because otherwise, it's going from the microphone on your computer.
Can you hear me now?
yeah.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Rotary, dude,
Okay.
you've piqued my interest in who you
That's
are
why.
as a human. Where
That's
are you?
why then. So how does my sound, everybody? Does it,
It sounds
sound
pretty
all
all right.
right?
It sounds
Sounds
pretty all right, yeah.
sounds like some sound waves, bro.
Yeah.
Good ones. Good
Okay,
sound
okay,
waves.
so
I-
No
I-
white noise, no pink noise. Remember the pink noise, dude? It's good noise. Rotary, where are you where are you
I
from?
heard you.
So I'm from Iowa.
Word. I always hate on your state, but it's just because I'm from a mitten shaped hell. Don't take it personally.
What?
There you go.
Hater. We
There
got a
you go.
hater in the house.
Yeah.
Dude, that's what we do here, bro. We have bad roads and poor air quality, and
Iowa's
we be
pretty
hating.
Yeah, Iowa roads are pretty bad too. It depends on the spot. It's like some places are all right. Some places are like, did
Well,
they do anything to this after the 1920s?
You guys birthed Slipknot, so I'll give you that.
Yeah.
You know.
Yep.
Do you how old are you if you don't mind me asking?
I'm 23.
23, brother? You're gonna be just fucking fine, dude. Whoa.
I hope so. We'll see.
Dude,
Oh my.
you're gonna
goodness.
be hey buddy. Oh man, I wanna not sound old right now, dude. I'm 31, but like I wanna not preach to you. But dude,
Well,
Okay.
Most of my friends are somewhere between the age of one of you guys or a little older.
I
so-
just want to say I'm proud of you for your intellectual capabilities, and you have a lot of potential to be a bright light, dude. If you're 23 and you got this mindset, Good job, brother.
Well, I appreciate
Oh,
that.
you know what? And we're going to let it shine. Over here on Just Speak Up, we want to
That's
show
perfect.
the world your mind. And listen up, people. Brody ain't playing. The Rotary has got a bright light, and you better watch out because he's going to come in kicking doors down.
That's right, dude.
Well,
Whipping lampshades off of
that's Ben's
lamps.
thing. Yeah, yeah. The kicking doors down. I think that's
Oh,
Ben's thing. But
hey,
yeah,
you're saying Beetlejuice's name right now, bro.
yeah.
That's right. He's going to show up any second now.
There's only one Ben Matthews, dude.
That
There's
is
only
true.
one.
Yeah, I'm half tempted.
Well,
I'm
I guess
half
I don't
tempted
need
to
this.
switch over to OBS so I could put some images up.
He is a riot, dude.
Yeah, dude.
He is a
Awesome.
riot.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So
So
what at 23 years old? What at 23 years old sparked this in you, bro? Because, dude, when I was 23, I was me at 23. We'll leave it there.
Yep. No, I know exactly what you're talking about, and interestingly enough, I think I think our stories, our life stories, perhaps share a pretty similar archetype. Granted, of course, I can't know that for sure, but just from the few things that you've kind of briefly described, there was certainly a period in my life wherein I lived as a person who properly does not care about anything. And that like properly does not care about anything. I had a pretty overall, if I had to describe my view of the nature of being, I would say certainly nihilistic. And I, for a long time, was kind of, who cares about any of this? And I didn't just say that, I meant it literally. I didn't care about the future implications of any of my actions or the people around me or the ways in which I might hurt them by not properly taking that into account. And so I had a real kind of rough period. I think perhaps maybe similar to you, how you describe yourself in your 20s. But
were you trying to fill some voids, brother?
I stopped. I think I kind of stopped caring about everything, and then I went, okay, well, if nothing matters, then why don't I try doing a whole bunch of different stuff? And I did that, and then yeah, I didn't cease to exist. And so I was like, I'm screwing around, whatever. I might as well try to make some money, I guess. I was like, I don't know, money's cool. You can buy cool cars and stuff with that, and that became sort of the only, if there was an overarching theme, if I had a mantra or any sort of a narrative to my life in that period of time, the only thing that I cared about at all, if anything, which hardly even that, was, might as well make some money, and I'm gonna go out and do a bunch of crazy wild stuff while we're at it. I became
Right.
dependent upon some certain things. This is one of those, unfortunately, can't really talk about it on TikTok type of things, but I think you know
Yeah.
exactly what I mean.
Was it a psychedelic experience by any chance that sparked you?
Oh, I've had many of those. Yeah, yep.
Pitter patter.
Yeah, yep. So, and yeah, I kind of got to a point in my life, really between the ages of like 16 to 19, really was crazy, whole bunch of crazy, wild stuff. And then eventually I kind of came to a point wherein, like Josh said, we can't really say for sure what would have happened, but each of us, each day that we live, we presume that we extend into the future as a presumption. If you had asked me 4 or 5 years ago where I would be right now, my answer would have been either 6 feet in the ground or certainly in prison. I was wholly convinced that one of those two things was going to happen, and that wasn't for no reason. And things were not going well, so to speak. And so I had kind of a I was sort of presented an opportunity, basically, at one point to completely abandon the entire life that I had known previously and move a state away. I grew up in Waterloo, Iowa, and I moved to the state of Illinois, suburb of Chicago, eventually, for about 3 years. I went over there for work and just completely left all of that behind in one go. and
Was
it
it
wasn't.
were those actions of leaving it all behind part of a spiritual awakening for yourself?
That's a good question, and I guess I don't properly know the answer to that one. I've thought about that a lot. I don't know if I really have a very well pointed story as to what happened exactly. There wasn't really a.
But something
I
in
don't.
you knew.
Yeah,
Uh,
I don't know if I really had some like pivotal moment where it was like, oh, like I suddenly realized everything type of thing, but rather over the course of really a couple of years, I was able to, entirely stop doing some stuff that I was very much dependent on doing at that point, and then started to attempt to pick up the pieces and kind of build something approximating a quote unquote normal life for myself. And at
mm,
some point in there, I kind of became familiar with and quite fond of a certain YouTube content creator, and I started listening to live streams that person was doing, and and listening to the things that they said. And at a certain point, eventually, I developed a sort of interest in the theological pursuits because there was a lot of really, really, really interesting stuff there.
right.
And so, like, I developed a desire to investigate the central theological claims of Christianity and investigate the nature of the Judeo-Christian abstract of God. And in doing that, I over a span of really a couple of years, and I think it was really about a year or two ago, somewhere in there where I was, eventually I was like, okay, yeah, this is like I would be a fool after all that I've seen and learned. I would be a fool to sit here and claim claim that I still don't know. But it is my opinion that
You
the
still don't know what?
that I still don't know that God is real. And that Christ
Oh,
was,
got
in
it.
fact, the Son of God on earth. So, a statement that I would make if I had to sum that up, I guess, there are an insane number of absolutely wild phenomenon surrounding not only the life of Christ, but also the creation of the book, the Christian Bible. And none of it is technically wholly, completely unexplainable if you will like give if you'll give courtesy to the notion that like everybody, all of the testimony of Jesus doing miracles is nonsense. If you're willing to give courtesy to that idea, um, the
So you
it,
said it is nonsense that he turned water into wine.
no, I don't think it is at all. But I'm saying even if we completely do away with all of that, even if we say
Got it.
okay, none of that happened, whatever, the number of verifiable, documented, regardless of a personal belief in God, we know these things are what happened. There are a large enough number of phenomena surrounding not only the life of Christ but also the creation of the book that are theoretically explainable, but incredibly strange when paired together, that claiming that there was absolutely nothing else going on and that all of these things were just mere coincidence, and insert thing here was because it simply could have been, is a claim akin to saying that the pyramids in Egypt, for example, simply built themselves as a process of random soil erosion without any human intervention whatsoever.
Mm.
Theoretically possible, but likely no. And so my kind of take on the scriptures as a whole is that if the explanation is not God, it is something far crazier and far less probable. So yeah,
And far
Gnarly
less
dog.
probable.
yeah.
So do you feel?
Melissa Jones, thank you for letting me know who you were. And what were you going to say, Brody? Sorry.
Oh, I was gonna. He brought up the pyramids, and I've always been interested in uh, Egyptian history just because of the mysteries behind it. Right? Like, what do you think? What helped people build the pyramids? Did people build the pyramids? I guess I'll start there. Did humans only?
Are we really going to go
Well,
there right now?
I don't know. I just want to know. Maybe he's got something that he read or something.
Brody, I mean, not Brody, Rotary, humans built the pyramids, right?
So I would say that although I can't ever say for sure, and really nobody can because we don't have a whole lot of documentation,
Let's hear the
it would
shortest
seem
version
it would seem to
possible.
me that yes, it is highly probable that humans and just humans built the pyramids. Yeah,
Is there a
Yeah.
lost technology that they use to do it?
that's possible. That's definitely possible.
Hard work.
Yeah, but, yeah, insanely
Elbow
hard work.
grease,
Yeah,
bro.
insanely hard work. You know, some of our early theories about how they could have stacked the blocks on top of each other. Somebody created a model wherein he found it possible to move these blocks by using a series of basically like wooden rollers on top of a sheet of copper and whatever. And they calculated out like if you were to wrap a rope around this gigantic block in order to lift it up to like I believe it was only like the second or third row of blocks in order to be able to lift that thing up, you know, push it up a slope, an incline, if you will. In order to be able to do that simply with manpower and just the number of people that you could put onto that thing and enact force upon it, you would have to make a slope, a runway to the ground that was approximately like I think it was like a mile and a half long. And so it's like, well, you know, building that would have been a huge problem
Right.
too, right? So yeah, so I don't know that we have a good handle on how exactly that happened. I think there are a lot of different
Yeah.
theories out there. We're getting maybe a little closer each
What do you
day.
think the purpose of the pyramids were? Why did they build them? Are they tombs? Are
Well,
they? Is it
Why
energy?
did they build?
Yeah. What is their?
It's a lot of
purpose, you know?
speculation going on
Yeah,
here.
there is a lot of
Sorry.
a lot of speculation
Sorry.
as to that.
Is
Do,
it?
do you like speculation?
I like imagination. You know.
Do you like speculation, Rotary?
It depends on the context.
Imagination.
Yeah, imagination, speculation, depending on the context. Yeah, sometimes I do.
I don't know. I'm just
All right,
wondering why
I
they built
see-
these 3 large triangles in the
I
desert.
see that there's plenty of people in here hanging out, watching out on TikTok, Rumble, YouTube,
Oh yeah.
no Facebook. But thank you all for being here. Rotary, can you tell me one more time how I change my mic inside of Rumble?
Okay, so on Rumble, you're going to see near the bottom of your screen, there's a little icon there that looks like a microphone. If you hover over it, it says disable microphone. There's a little arrow next to that that's pointing down. Click on that arrow, and you'll see a list
Yeah, I
of
did
different
that.
microphone options. Yeah, and there should be one on there for that audio interface that you have plugged into your computer.
There
If
is,
it's-
and it's even checked.
Oh, okay. So
And
yeah,
I'm listening.
that might just be.
And I'm listening with it.
Oh, okay. Well,
Weird,
I don't know
huh?
that. Yeah, that might just be a problem with the thing. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. That's interesting. Not sure. Well, now we can't hear you, Josh. Oh, there's the applause. Yeah,
I
you
think-
got the applause.
That's weird. I think that just like took a break or something when I yelled his name because I didn't do anything to it. And now
That's weird.
this is working.
That's super weird.
Whoa.
Wow.
You know what I'm going to do with that?
What?
I'm just going to give it to God.
There you go.
I'm just
There
going
you
to
go.
just give it to God.
I don't
Right.
believe in coincidence. Do you guys?
Okay, so Rotary, you, yeah, I believe in coincidence. Absolutely. Do you want to dive into that?
I'm down to die. I'll dip my toes in a little bit.
Well,
I think
I'm
everything
not
happens.
interested.
Everything happens for a reason, you know. So if that's
All
the
right.
case, right?
So
I-
you do or you don't believe in coincidence?
I don't.
Oh, I thought you said you do.
Mm-mm.
so
What about you, Rotary?
I believe in coincidence in the sense that terminology is one that people use to describe things that seem as though they could potentially have some sort of underlying meaning. But it's an attempt to describe that situation without investigating why, without asking the question why. So somebody, you know, it's like insert thing here happened, insert thing here happened. Well, what are the odds of that? That seems a little weird, doesn't it? I don't know. Maybe it was just a coincidence. Well, you're saying it simply happened because it could. Well, of course it happened because it could. It did happen. but the question is why. And so that's
So
actually
in that sense, there are coincidences.
there are, in that sense,
Yeah.
there are coincidences, but
Yeah.
I don't find it to be a satisfactory explanation for anything. So
Fuck yeah, Rotary.
yeah,
Well, it's the thing is it's just a lack of knowing the answer. Like it's
Yeah,
just the
yeah, it
fact that
is.
you don't know the answer.
yeah,
So
yeah.
you
And
just
so
chalk it up.
Right.
Whatever, dude. I know everything. I'm a human with thumbs.
yeah, dude, opposable thumbs,
Oh,
pretty
yeah.
cool, pretty cool.
That's
Yeah.
a coincidence.
Quick shout
Okay,
out to
so
Hans.
we've got some comments. Is there a comment that you guys particularly see? How did they see in the dark? Because there wasn't. Can you suit on the ceiling or I don't get it.
maybe they
I don't get it.
maybe they had candles or torches or moonlight, or they didn't do shit in the dark and they waited till the sun came up.
And they did. Okay,
So,
so let's see. A group of people from the Great Tower, after the language was confused, I believe.
What'd you say, buddy?
oh, Jaws frozen on my end. I'm not sure.
No, he's doing the mannequin challenge. He's good at
was
it.
he? Yeah, that was pretty impressive, Jeff. That was pretty impressive.
He's bringing it back.
Oh, he's frozen on TikTok as well.
Yeah.
So I think it's his Wi-Fi.
That girl is a real crowd pleaser. Da da da. All friends know me.
That's pretty good. That was pretty good, Jeff. Yeah, somebody, Amy on TikTok. Shout out to Amy. She's awesome. What's up? Good to see you in here.
Amy is awesome.
Amy on TikTok says it's raining and coincidentally wet, and I guess that is a grammatically correct sentence. That is true, but that is also a direct example. That's a great example of a direct cause and effect. It's raining, and therefore the ground is wet. So it's not really coincidence, is it? We know why.
DCB 144 on Rumble said we have a bunch of access denied knowns in quantum physics. Hey, dude, I'm at the gas station still with the quantum physics. If you want to,
Are you,
dude? Forever, I think.
Me
I don't
too.
think the ride's
No,
ever coming back to get me.
So when you guys think of God, do you think of the Bible?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I think it's hard.
You do?
I was
Oh,
raised
absolutely.
Christian. I'm more like spiritual and open-minded and open-hearted to everything. Like I think every major religion or every religion has something to offer you on your mission. But yeah, I was raised Christian, so when I think of God, it's like second nature to think of the Bible.
So
right?
do you actually read it?
I have read the Bible, not fully all the way through.
No. Hold on. No, I asked you a specific question.
Do I still read scripture?
Do you read the Bible?
Yeah, I have a Bible on my nightstand right there, man. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
How about you, Rotary?
Yeah, same as well. So I have a Bible as well, a printed out one, and I'll admit though I don't too often open that anymore. It kind of sits in a shelf in one of my closets, and rather I have an app downloaded on this amazing piece of technology I've got in my hand right here, and I believe it's called the YouVersion Bible app. And it's got the whole book, and it's got that you can switch between the different versions pretty freely, and it also does like a cool little verse of the day thing. It'll send you email updates. So often when I get up in the morning, if I'm going through my different work emails, I'll get up in the morning, I'll make a cup of coffee, and I'll go through my work emails, check the stock market, that type of stuff, and that email will be in that list with the verse of the day, and so that's.
So are you telling me the Lord is sending emails now, bro?
Yeah.
What?
In abstract, perhaps.
Remember, a chapter a day will keep the devil away.
That's what I should be doing, Ja. You're a better man than I. I should be doing a chapter a day. You know what? That might be it. That might be a good thing to start doing.
A chapter a day is the way to go. It
probably is the way to go.
revolutionizes your life, and not just because of everything that the Bible has to offer, but just the discipline of doing something, sticking with it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Like what is the book you told me to read? The Book of Mecca,
Melchizedek, the Book of
Melchizedek.
Melchizedek.
I'm gonna
That
copy
one,
that one.
and what's the other one by Napoleon Hill? You know it, Rotary. Think and Grow Rich. Have you read that, Rotary?
No, I haven't. I've never read either of
Oh,
those
wow.
books, nor have I heard of that person. So,
Oh,
yeah,
you're in for a treat. You're welcome.
yeah.
Yeah.
Let me actually, matter of
Um,
fact, let me write that down.
Yeah, no, seriously, you should just get the book and read it. It's a phenomenal book, one of the best books ever written.
What was that book called again? Sorry.
Think and Grow Rich. So I have like a level, right, where it's like the best thing ever, and there's a whole bunch of things at that level because there's just some stuff that it doesn't get better than that, right?
Right.
And the Bible is there. You know, the Bhagavad Gita, it's there. All of these books are there. And Think and Grow Rich are one of those I'd throw up there. And then Knowing is the Secret by Neville Goddard, I'd throw that up there. A lot of Neville Goddard stuff is amazing. Earl Nightingale pretty much backs off of Napoleon Hill. And then there's James Allen, As a Man Thinketh. That's an excellent book. And a lot of these are just small books. They're just reminders, like you ever notice the stuff that we're learning, and I'm talking spiritual growth. It's never really like new knowledge. You're always just kind of reminded.
Yeah.
I don't know. For me, spiritually, when I learned that, I'm like, oh yeah, that's how that works. Do-do-do-do-do. And then life just got a little bit better.
And then a little bit better and better. Yeah.
Well, how are they still there after all these years? She's still stuck on the pyramids.
Oh, I mean, it's a good question.
Yeah. Can you tell her I said hi, Brody?
Tell,
Whoever you're texting.
oh, no, I wasn't texting anybody.
No,
I was-
I don't know about that.
What? I was reading a text.
Oh, you were reading a text.
Yeah.
Got it.
And I will
Yeah.
definitely tell Haley you said hi. She says hi back.
Thank you. Thank you
Absolutely.
very much.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
How are they still there after all these years?
The pyramids.
Oh, the
Melissa
pyramids.
Jones is still.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I could be totally wrong on this, but I think the pyramids are mostly like sandstone, no? Like mostly sandstone. If not
They were
I
made from
honestly
God's
don't know.
bones, dude.
God's bones.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, duh.
Isn't that just dirt?
Well, yeah, it's
Isn't
God's
God's bones
essentially
dirt?
what? Oh, God's bones. Yeah,
God's
that's a good
bones
question.
are dirt. Like,
That's a good question.
are we made of dirt and water?
I thought we were made of stardust and I don't know, stardust,
crap,
right?
my computer's about to die. 1 second.
So,
I gotta grab my
I
laptop.
don't
charger. I'll
know
be right
honestly what we're made of, because I always like to think on what we actually are if I'm going there, because we are not really humans. We're living a human experience. So who we really are, what we're really made of, oh my goodness, I couldn't even.
Dude,
I don't know.
I want to know so bad,
know
though,
what I'm
buddy.
saying?
I want to know.
Yeah,
I wish we did
So
have the answers some days.
I do want Rotary to hear this.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, sorry, I had to grab my charger for my laptop, which was in the other room.
you're good. So
Well,
I was
that's-
just letting him know when we say something like that, it's hard to continue with the topic, because normally when I think of who we are, is we aren't really humans. We are
No, yeah,
some sort of spiritual being. So
right.
what is that? Who really? Nobody knows, right?
Oh, I could go on for hours about that.
Oh, dude. Well,
I
we've
could
just
go on for
begun.
hours about that. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
well let's dig into this, because this is the type of stuff I like as well.
hmm
But what we really are, I don't know. So right now we're talking about what type of physical matter. I don't think we actually know what that is in the human form.
Not to interrupt, I'll be right back.
Do you know a theory?
As to what so we have a pretty good understanding of. Sorry, I gotta be able to hear myself speak a little bit.
So let's make sure you're on the right page. I'm talking about the actual matter our soul is made of, if there is such a thing.
Oh, yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I would propose that likely whatever it is exists in a state of being that is not observable to us as we are today. Because we inhabit carbon-based life forms, the only methods of perceiving anything we have are those that are afforded to us by these physical bodies that we possess. And so I don't think, and it's like the same thing as I'll say, I don't think we're ever likely going to be able to scientifically prove or disprove the existence of God. Obviously, I could be completely wrong on that, but I don't think that that's likely to happen for the same reason.
Yeah, no, I mean, that sounds realistic, actually.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say I believe, agree, or disagree with you because.
Sorry.
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah, I also think that people use that as an argument against God, and I think it's a really, 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 really weak argument against the existence of God. So, like, I could probably go on about that for way too long too. But.
I think that's one of the coolest things. Like some of the things that are just unexplainable that you have to experience.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And that's something that God is.
Yeah. Exactly.
What's strange to me is all the different beliefs in who God is.
Yeah.
So for me, I had a calling from God, and that's what changed my life. And I know he exists. And then to see so many people that have had such an experience, but don't agree with me on a lot of things. And that's kind of interesting to me. Like, how did you get to where you're at? Because I know how I got to where I'm at. And to some extent, we actually can't fully explain it in detail. Like somewhere deep down in, we had to at some point just believe in what we know. And that's how I see it.
Yeah. So I'll make the joke that, like I used to be agnostic or perhaps even an atheist, but then I became a scientist. And in some real sense, that is kind of how it happened. Now, granted, one before the other, not exactly in that order. But so somebody asked me the other day, they said, if you could summarize what it is that causes you to believe in God in a brief way, what would you say? And I'd never really thought about that before because it's not a brief explanation at all. In fact, I could probably go on and on for just about forever. But if I had to make it very, very, very short and sweet and massively oversimplify it, it is my faith in the underlying intelligibility of the universe that leads me to a belief in God. And so
I like that, dude. I'm so glad I was able to hear it and understand it because the way you just explained it, that was awesome. You have faith in the underlying intelligence of the universe.
The intelligibility of the universe.
Intelligibility.
Yeah.
Interesting.
The idea that even when it seems like things don't make sense at all, it's not because they don't make sense, and it's not because things are bad. It's because we don't understand them, at least yet. That ultimately, fundamentally, is what led me to the formulation of a belief in God. And I could probably go on about this for way too long. I'm trying to think of a good brief way to explain this. So we talked about earlier, and this is, I'm going to try to tie 4 different things together right now. We talked about earlier.
Let's hear it.
We talked about earlier, very briefly. I think one of you guys kind of briefly touched on the complexity of the human cognitive structure, and that being otherwise an outlier. It absolutely is. an outlier. The difference between us and any other animal that you'll find on the face of this planet is that we, at some point in our evolutionary process, at some point along the line, we figured out how to form an abstract understanding of the future and act as though it's real, such that we might ask the question, how can I make the best sacrifice today such that tomorrow looks better? And a lot of animals can do this in a very like primitive way as a function of like biological necessity. So oftentimes when I say that, people will bring up like, oh well, like squirrels bury nuts for the winter, and like bears, they stock up on food before they go hibernate, and so on and so forth. But what I'm talking about is that statement, as I just said it, is articulable. I just said that out loud, and I believe it to be true, and I can think about it without actually enacting it in abstract. I can think about it. I can plan out an event that happens, or I'm preparing to a journey that I'm preparing to embark on. I can think about it in abstract as an event in the future, and I can test out different ideas that I have about that event in my own head. And maybe I can think about things that I do and don't want to do. I can play out scenarios in my own head, and I can make mistakes in those scenarios, and I can let the stupider version of myself that exists only purely in abstract die, and I in real life don't have to suffer the consequences of that person's mistakes. And that is the difference between us and every other species that's ever existed. And so the question is, how did that happen? How did that happen, and why did it happen to only us? And I would propose that the atheistic answer to that question is incredibly lackluster. So there's the proposition.
Lackluster?
Yes, it is not. It's not satisfactory to me at all. So the atheistic proposition, as to the correct answer to that question, is that over time the human, like our physical brain structure, evolved over time and eventually became something complex enough to be able to house that type of a consciousness. Okay, great. Well, I can agree with you on that. Sure, that happened. But my problem is, okay, well, what you've said there is great. It happened because it could. It happened because it did. The physical brain structure evolved over time, eventually became complex enough to be able to house that type of a structure. But one thing that I know to be true, because it's something that I act out every single day, is that you cannot derive an infallible method of interpreting data from the set of data itself. If I give you or anybody else, or somebody gives me a set of data that contains, let's say, 1,000 different points of information, and maybe they're numbers from 0 to 3 million, anywhere in between there's 1,000 different points of data. And I give somebody that data set and I say, hey, make sense out of this. And that's all I tell them. I go, here you go, you have this data, make sense out of it. If I have in my mind, in doing that, one specific way that I would have that I'm going the wrong direction with this. I give that person that data set. Here it is, a bunch of information. In looking at that set of data, you cannot possibly derive one infallible mode or method of interpreting that data from the data itself, having no other information, no prior information, no anything else, because you aren't me. You aren't the person that gave you that set of data. You have no other information to go on besides the numbers themselves, and you might be able to extract out some type of a pattern. Perhaps you apply a logarithmic regression to it, and you go, okay, well, so there's this and that, but you can't determine one infallible mode of interpreting that data from the data itself. And in much the same way, I don't believe, and it's not a satisfactory answer to me, that we were able to formulate that idea simply as a result of living in the same world that all of the other carbon-based life that exists here did, just purely as a matter of coincidence. That isn't a satisfactory answer to me at all.
So hold on, you got to remind me of the overall point of this, because I'm out of it.
So what I'm saying is, the atheistic explanation as to the presence of the human cognitive structure, one
Got
that's
it.
capable of interpreting the future, is that it simply
Right.
happened because it could,
right.
because our brains
Got it.
eventually evolved there. And what I'm saying is, not only is that not a satisfactory answer to me, but specifically in any of the sciences, including data science, the physical sciences, that is well understood to be impossible.
So
Yeah.
he's ultimately saying our species shouldn't have been the only one to evolve this way.
I'm saying
That's pretty interesting.
Yeah, so not only am I saying that our species, quote, shouldn't have been the only one to evolve this way, but I'm saying the fact that it happened at all is something properly worth investigation. In a
Now,
statement, yeah,
but right now, what if somebody was just to say, "Well, God did it"? Would you accept that answer?
I would say that other, unlike, oh, it's a coincidence, whatever, the thing just happened, God did it. That's a theory. That's a theory that I would want to investigate, right? And so
Got it.
and that was part of the beginning of my kind of inquisition, so to speak, my looking into all of these things, and yeah, yeah. So I
Got
think,
it.
yeah, that was like fundamentally one of the places that I started there, and then yeah, you get into like a lot of the central theological claims and start studying a lot of the stories in the Bible, and like the nature of the Bible itself is absolutely insane, crazy, like just fucking wild. Like, okay, so the Bible is a book. It's also a library of books, and
It's
books,
a
in fact,
library. How many books are in the Bible?
I should be able to answer that question immediately off the top of my head, but I don't know why I can't.
Oh, it doesn't
Um,
matter. I mean, really, we could even leave it at that because the answer, I guess, really doesn't matter.
so the answer to that question, I believe, depends on the version you're talking about.
It definitely depends on the version.
Yes.
That's why I was just trying to get a little.
Okay.
So
So the standard accepted number, I guess, is 66.
standard accepted number. Did you
Yeah.
get that off of Google?
I was about to say 60 something, and then I thought, you know what? I've got a computer in front of me. I can find the answer to that question.
Oh,
Yeah.
got it. Got
Yep.
it. Okay. So first of all, well, not first of all, but thank you everybody that's in here on Rumble, on YouTube. Still nobody on Facebook, and of course TikTok. Um,
Yeah.
At TikTok, you can find me at jaw_bless_I, and then you can find him at the Rotary Doc. We're on Facebook, but that's for you to do your detective work and figure out. I'm
Rotary
on Rumble,
Warehouse on Facebook. That's my business page. Yeah.
Rotary Warehouse on
Yep.
Facebook. I would recommend you go check that out. And everybody on Rumble, thanks for being here. This is new to me. So if you got any tips about how to use this app or any good podcasts I could listen to or watch, let me know. And thank you for everybody that's in here leaving the comments, especially. Obviously, I like them. You could see the comments up there, right, Rotary?
Yep. Yeah, I can see them
Cool.
there, and I've also got them off to my right in a little sidebar deal. It's cool how it kind of meshes the comments between it looks like at least YouTube and Rumble.
Yeah.
I would assume it would do the same for Facebook if there were
Yep.
people, right? Yeah.
And for some reason, I can't sign in to X from here, but I guess it would do X as well.
Oh, interesting.
But I don't really ever use it much. TikTok, I will say, is dude, that's where I've met everybody so far.
Yeah.
Everybody
Yeah.
that's in
Same.
here on Rumble and YouTube,
Yeah.
and then TikTok, like that's all from TikTok.
Yeah. It's certainly connected a lot of people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay, two things came to mind that I want to ask you.
Yeah.
I'll start with why TikTok. Why do you go on TikTok?
Okay. Yeah. Why TikTok? So, I made an account on TikTok probably, I don't even know, 2 years ago or something like that. And then I posted like one or two videos, and then I never used it again because I was, the user interface didn't
Yeah, I
really
did the
make
same
sense to
thing.
me, and I don't know. And then want to say it was about 6 or 7 months ago. Maybe it's been a little longer than that now. I don't know. I was looking at, okay, I need to start building out an online presence for this business that I have, and I've heard from many people that TikTok is a platform on which it's easier to get a larger number of views on your videos and things of that nature, just because there's so many more people there, and that has certainly been my experience. But so I was like, all right, well, let me dust the old TikTok account off again, and I'll start making shorts as promotional content for the long form content that I put out on YouTube, and also Facebook and that sort of thing. And unfortunately, a couple of those posts have been removed from TikTok because they've decided that they violate their community guidelines on certain materials. Even though
yeah.
I've thoroughly read the community guidelines and they absolutely are not in violation, but it's whatever, it's their
It's
platform, right?
whatever.
But yeah, so initially it was okay, well, we're going to get on here and upload the same shorts content that I do on YouTube to TikTok as well, and then see if it gets some more views. And it does tend to get a lot more views. Like, I've got shorts on YouTube that have like maybe 1,000 plays, and on TikTok it's 20,000.
Dude, what's your YouTube? Tell everybody your YouTube.
Yeah, it's cars and stuff. It's just cars and stuff. If you look it up, it might be hard to find. It might be a little hard to find. I have like 124 subscribers, so
we're gonna have to subscribe to one another, dude.
Yeah. I'll find you on YouTube for sure. Actually, matter of fact, I could probably do that while we're here right now, just to make sure I've got the right.
Oh yeah.
Sign into my actual channel.
I actually just changed my YouTube to
what's the
just speak up.
All right, let me look it up here.
And you can find us live on YouTube. And if you're
Just
in here, guys,
speak up
subscribe.
English, I would assume that's not
like, follow.
Oh, here it is. I found you. That's awesome.
And then I will follow you back.
All right, I just subscribed to you on YouTube. Awesome, dude. Yeah, that's great. I see it says you're live right now. So
I am. I'm live with the Rotary Doc.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I've got one short on YouTube that I think has like 10,000 views, and then the rest of them are like 500, 1,000.
Oh yeah, you definitely got me beat. My YouTube is I don't know what to call it. It's good, bad, whatever. Honestly, I don't know the difference.
Well, I'm sure it's pretty kick ass.
Yeah, thank you, Rotary.
I'm sure it's pretty kick ass. If it's any, yeah.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say if your YouTube is in any way representative of you as a person, I'm sure it's pretty fucking great. So.
Oh, dude, thank you very much. Those are very kind words, my friend. So theology. What is theology? If you were to define it in your own words.
Oh, this is interesting. All right. So theology, if I had to define it in my own words.
But not a detailed explanation of what you think it is, just a definition. Just a definition. I'm going to dial in on this.
I hate doing the short and sweet, because it's like, sometimes I feel like the best answer to that question is probably a little bit longer than you're looking for. But well, what is
I get that.
Sweet. What is theology? It is the study of the nature of reality not otherwise covered by science. And what I mean by that is not that it's things that we just don't have a scientific explanation for yet. I'm talking about things which are not applicable.
I get it. I definitely get it. That was a great definition. Definitely.
Yeah.
So the study of theology is something that probably one of the reasons why we're able to have good conversations together as well is because I love it. I absolutely love it. And my study is kind of all over the place between philosophy, theology, I guess religion, spirituality falls somewhere in the lines of all that.
Yeah.
But anything that has to do with the unseen or transcendental knowledge, or I don't know, like the sense part of life, like where you have to have some sort of, I don't know, think you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, yeah. No, I think it's like, and I don't even remember where I heard this idea first, but it's something like we live and we experience life in this sort of like dreamlike state that's sort of halfway in between the things we know and the things we don't know, and maybe the process of experience is like categorizing the things we don't know, defining them, and then moving them to the other category. Um, yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. That's kind of where I'm at.
So
Yeah.
we exist in this kind of dreamlike state. Like somebody will say, like a thought appeared in my head, like it, like, oh, where'd you come up with that idea? A thought appeared in my head. What the hell does that mean, dude? Like, what does that mean? Literally, what are you referring to? And none of us
So,
really
and
know.
are you the thoughts, or are you the thing observing the thoughts? Is there a difference?
So I would argue that in fact you're in some sense a little bit of both, but 99.98% the thing observing the thoughts. Yeah.
99.8.
99.98.
Nine.
So two
Ooh.
hundredths of a percent thought, the rest of it, the thing that observes the thought. Yeah.
So, and
Yeah.
then we're faced with the task of deciding what to do with that thought,
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. And
right?
this is a little bit of like what I was talking about earlier. It's we all have whether we consciously recognize that or not. We all, in living our lives, are building an interpretive structure, so to speak, that allows us to interpret and
Right.
make sense out of the world. And so, like, and that in and of itself is a pretty damn complex idea. But maybe one part of it is like a number of presumptions that we can make about the nature of being. So, like, when I walk out of my house in the morning, I understand and I know that the air is not poison and it's not going to immediately take my life, the second I walk out of that door. But I don't have to say that or think that in any articulable way because I know it. It exists as a presumption in the back of my mind, so fundamental that I don't even have to think about it.
Right.
And you build layers on top of layers with that type of stuff, and maybe eventually you get to something approximating a mode of being in the world. So
So, okay. So that makes me think of how much influence your parents, the world, society has on who you become as that observer. And then that also makes me think of that's somewhere in there where the God gene is, or whatever you would call it, where when you have that spiritual awakening, or when you see God, meet God, whatever it is, then that part clicks where you're able to think for yourself, where you're actually able to notice something that you weren't able to notice before. At least that's kind of my human experience, right? Would kind of relate to that. Does that make sense?
yeah, yeah. So the way that I kind of conceptualize that idea, we have this, for example, we have the idea in
Hold on one
biology.
second. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I actually really like that. I think I may have thought of that before, but that's just another thing that it kind of reminds me of the whole being born again, right? And your
Yeah.
old self dying
Yeah.
and you being reborn. Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. And so maybe that is what, okay. All right. Sorry. I had to really digest that,
Yeah.
think it through, because I really enjoyed it.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think like something along the lines of that is like uh, now that I have attempted to, like previously I would have never even asked the question, but now that I've found the answer to the question, what am I and where do I come from, that changes everything. Everything. And so when people say, to say that
Wait,
you're
what
made
changes
new,
everything?
made new in Christ or made new in a belief in God, um, uh, coming to recognize the utility of asking and attempting to answer the question, what am I and where do I come from?
Right.
Yeah.
That's a crazy question to ask.
Yeah, yeah, it is, but it absolutely changes everything.
Yeah, it
Changes your
opens up.
entire life. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a completely different person. Like the two of us, we would have never been friends. Like if I was like 4 or 5 years younger. When I was,
But
the person that I
dude,
used to be, I was a terrible
so
person.
but
like
you
I,
could,
my life
dude,
was
you
yeah.
don't know who I was 7 years ago, bro.
Well, right, yeah, that's true. That's true as well. Yeah,
You
Yep.
know, and it just goes back to what I was saying earlier about what
Yep.
we think we would
Right.
do
We can say
because,
theoretically, yep. Yeah.
like, I'm telling you, bro, like, don't get me wrong, in some sense, I am very similar, but I'm
Yeah.
a different person
Oh yeah. Same.
than who I was 7 years
Yeah. Yeah.
ago.
Where was I? I was. Oh yeah. So we were talking earlier about the. I don't remember what it was, but I know the point I was about to make. So we have this idea, like this is a
Yes.
comparison that I like. We have this idea in biology that an organism, a carbon based organism, is a microcosm of its environment. So, for example, if you took a bird, if we took a pigeon from planet Earth and we sent it out in a spaceship way, way, way far away, a billion light years away, and eventually, aliens intercept that bird if it somehow magically was still alive and not completely decayed, whatever. You could take that bird if you had no idea what the Earth looked like. You'd never been here. You have no information about it whatsoever. You could take that bird and you could dissect it, and you could figure out what that bird's diet mostly comprised of. What was mostly comprised of. You could figure out what our atmosphere was mostly comprised of. You could even go as far as dissecting the eyes of the thing to figure out at what wavelength light was most amenable to vision. Here, an individual or a carbon-based life form is a microcosm of its environment. And I think there's a very good argument to be made that the human cognitive structure is perhaps a microcosm of the force that speaks forth habitable being into order from the chaos that otherwise is reality. Um, and that's something I could go on for hours and hours and hours about that probably, but um, yeah, yeah. I think one of the like really compelling things that I don't know if this is a theory that I formed myself or if it's probably an amalgamation of things that I heard from other people, doing stuff like this and
Right.
listening to lectures and whatnot. But
But
so I
that
personally, I don't.
that's that's the that's how we work, right? As
Yeah,
humans. What
yeah,
you just explained is how. So I, for a while, dude, I couldn't do anything but like search and seek that type of stimulation in my mind. And at first, I just found it on podcasts and videos of, you know, stoicism and motivational speakers like Jim Rohn and all these other people that I spoke about before. And, you know, you start digging more and more. And then all of a sudden I wanted to go find live humans that wanted to talk about this stuff. I think
yeah,
that's one of the things that really drew me towards TikTok was to find that type of dialogue I was looking for, you
yeah,
know.
yeah,
And I seemed to have found that.
yeah.
And it's fun. And here we are.
Yeah, I had no idea when I came like back to TikTok for the sake of like posting videos and stuff. I had no idea that they had that type of a platform where you can have a live going on and just have 8 other people in there, like
Yeah.
9 people inside of a live. I had no idea about that. And I don't remember exactly. I probably just stumbled upon that in the app and went, "Oh crap, this is kind of
That's
cool." And
that's exactly what happened to me, bro.
that's how I ended up sticking around. Yeah. So
Because I did not. Once I saw that I could pull these people up like that, I
yeah,
was just I haven't stopped actually.
yeah, yeah.
So we got Daniel Bravo in the house. Daniel, just so you know, I was going to be ending here in a few minutes, but I would uh, invite you up. I see you down there, buddy. So now, knowing that we're going to wrap it up here in a few minutes as far as the Rumble and all that, to sum everything up or in closing, you know, where would we go with what we've said so far and, you know, basically just cutting it out? Like, how would we end this conversation properly?
Well, I guess we could end it a number of different ways. I suppose um, to anyone out there listening, if I had like if there's one thing to take away from this or some sort of a message, I guess. Um, yeah, in living each day, we got to figure out how to be in the world and be in the world forthrightly in such a way that it works not only today, but tomorrow and the day after and the day after and so on and so forth. And because, in part, because we aren't transparent to ourselves, that's a real complicated and oftentimes pretty messy thing to do. And luckily, we have the best example there could ever possibly be of how to do that, and that is the story of the life of Jesus Christ. And so, if I had any sort of a statement to leave everybody with, I suppose that'd be it.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
So I would actually agree that all should emulate such a life, right? Like,
Yeah.
I really do agree with that statement. Emperor Haile Selassie of Ethiopia definitely uh, told us that we should do just that. We should emulate the life of Jesus Christ. And I like his teachings. That's an individual where if you were to read some of his writings,
Oh
I
yeah.
think you'd
Yeah.
gain a
Yeah.
lot of knowledge, wisdom, etc. But I would say, to sum it all up, I enjoyed having both you and Brody.
Yeah.
The
It's been awesome.
topics are awesome. I actually can't wait to do this again with you. I was already
Yeah.
thinking like we should
Yeah,
think
dude.
of a topic and have
Right.
meet again sometime soon because talking to you is fun, bro.
Yeah. Is there some way that we could coordinate this outside of like TikTok messages? My TikTok messages is so full of like spam and crap that I can't even sort through it really. I don't really look
Yeah,
at it, but
we'll talk about that in just a moment, my
yeah.
dude. So, Dan Bravo, I'm gonna end this. I want to thank everybody for coming in on Rumble, YouTube, Facebook, the Rotary Doc. Go check out his Facebook. You got to check out what this dude does. As a matter of fact, I still do too. So, I haven't made it to your Facebook page yet, but
No
I
worries.
will find my way.
Yeah.
If there's anything that I would say that I hope that people take from this is I hope that you see that there are ways for you to achieve your dreams and your goals and your ambitions. And there are ways that you can help the people in your community, near and far, your neighbor, all the way to across the world. And even if you just have your voice, use it. If you have a voice and something else, use those things as well. But just know that anything that you want in this life, keep it realistic. You could have it. Go out and get it. We're here if you ever want to chat. My name is on Facebook if you could figure it out. And I have TikTok, Jobless I, YouTube, Just Speak Up, and now Rumble, Jobless I. Anything else, buddy?
I think that's about it. Yeah.
All right. I'll
Close
see
to
you on
closing.
TikTok real
So,
quick.
all right.
I'm
Sounds
going
good.
to end this.
Later.